Detective Chief Inspector Steve Lingley. I'm the Head of Public Protection in Northamptonshire Police.
How important is this week to the police to encourage victims of violence and sexual assault to come forward and report the crimes?
It's extremely important. What we realise that the confidence of a victim to come forward in the first place is such a difficult area. Often these victims have been the subject of abuse for a number of years, and it's really important that they have the confidence to pick up the phone and talk to us.
For somebody who does find themselves in that position, how difficult is it for them to call the police, to make that initial connection?
There's a number of ways they can get hold of us. Obviously, telephone, through the the force website, those sort of areas. I think in terms of how difficult psychologically, very, very difficult. But we've seen with the level of reporting of first-time victims increasing that clearly some of the messages we've been putting out over the last 2 or 3 years, that there is that confidence.
When you speak to the victim, I mean, in terms of how scared are they to actually make that first phone call to report what has happened, which could have been going on for a number of months or indeed a number of years?
Often very scared, and I think they're worried about obviously the implications to themselves, to their children, and often they still have feelings for the partner in that relationship, so it's a very complex mix. But we're encouraging them to pick up the phone because it's about protecting them, protecting their children, but offering them just the support and the safety they need. It's not just about bringing people to justice. This is about protecting the public.
When they make that call, what sort of progress are you able to give them? How are you able to help them?
Well, our initial response is to make a sort of a dynamic assessment. Are they at risk now? Are their children at risk now? Do we need to protect them? After that, it's about working with them around assessing the level of risk, what their needs are, and what the most appropriate sort of partners to refer them into. For example, we have on the roadshow this week, we've got representatives from the Sunflower Centre, which provides support to victims of high-risk domestic abuse, and give them that sort of protection, awareness, and help them rebuild their lives.
Is it, as we mentioned, they obviously have to pick up the phone and make the first contact with the police, and then, as you say, other agencies take over. Do they still feel vulnerable then, as though, well, I'm not sure what I've actually done, but you've got to reassure them? Yeah,
it's about building a relationship with them, and sometimes that takes a very long time, especially if it's a case that it's going to go to court. That relationship with the police officers and that the partners takes a very long time. So it's about trust, and what I see and what I see from my teams is we're able to provide that level of support and confidence of victims to see them through the criminal justice sort of programs, really.
And with this week, you've got a number of mobile police stations going out and about across the county. What would you hope that will achieve?
For me, this is about lifting that awareness, both to victims, their families, friends, relatives, so that if there's somebody living in a house, in a relationship, and they're scared and they need that help, that awareness maybe will make the difference between them not picking up the phone and picking up the phone. And this extends beyond just domestic abuse. This is about victims of serious sexual violence to have the confidence to come forward as well, because we can offer a lot of support from our partners around their long-term sort of health and welfare needs, really.